Wait a second.
Actually, I suspect, Scotty, they don't want to hear it right now. They want to set up their telescopes.
Robin, well,
Yeah, but we have a live audience that would want to hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
That's what I
Robin.
think.
Robin.
Yeah, Rolls. ROLES.
Yes.
Yo. First one.
Magic.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Just sent you a friend request. Scott, I'm gonna have a
You're breaking up there, Chris.
roles to get into our Zoom. So because we're gonna project and have a live stream, okay?
Okay. Will you still be on Zoom, Chris?
Yeah. I'll be on Zoom, but they're gonna broadcast it.
Yeah,
here
good.
for
That's
everybody. So it'll be great because they can hear David give a talk on comets.
Okay, but I won't start until you guys are ready.
Okay, I'm not ready for some reason
The whole
here.
world. 105.1 FM.
Wait, there's a radio station here. It's gonna be broadcast through that radio station.
Okay, that's cool.
So it's gonna be broadcast through the whole of Cebu.
Awesome.
Okay. Hey, where is Venus?
What time is the lecture start?
You can log in now, so he can start the lecture. Probably in
Keep you updated on
okay. We're still yeah, you can see the moon now.
Yeah, it's right behind you. Actually, it's right there.
Okay, looks like we're live. Let me double check something here. Yep, we are all set. We are all set here. Great.
We are set, although Chris is not.
And that's okay. That's okay. But while we're doing this, you know, welcome to attempt number 3 here for the 158th Global Star Party.
The
Hello?
never-ending 158th.
That's right. That's right. So, and I noticed that my Zoom
We're
link
setting
is
up a
not-
screen here, ready for David to give a lecture.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be broadcast throughout Cebu.
Great. Okay. So I'm having a slow internet connection myself, but go ahead. David Levy is joining us from Vail, Arizona, and and we'll talk a little bit about
Was it
comets.
brighter?
It's kind of bright.
Lagi diri. So,
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay, everybody, and welcome to the never-ending 158th Global Star Party. This is the third night that we've been here on a mountain in the Philippines. Scott and I have seen the comet twice now, last night and tonight. Although I did not see the anti-tail tonight, I know that it's there, so I'll look for it harder tomorrow night.
Yeah, I see.
Anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about comets.
Out of that gray cloud, you just go pan.
Are you there?
Yep.
Great. Okay, I shall continue.
Yep.
Anyway, the story begins in 1965 for me. I was already very, very committed to the night sky, to astronomy. I decided even I was going to be an astronomer, not realizing that in order to be an astronomer, one had to be good at math, and I'm terrible at math. So that took care of that.
I see it. I see it. It's over here.
What happened was something very different. It was October 1965. I was walking to my high school, which was Westmount High School. I think many of you now have heard of the school because there is a very famous student who graduated from Westmount High School. Her name is Kamala Harris. And in about one month from now, the United States will be voting to see if she should be the next president of the States. But anyway, I was walking to this high school for my oral examination. Because Westmount High School is located in Quebec, Quebec will not allow anyone to graduate high school without some knowledge of French. I knew that they were going to ask me some questions about what I wanted to do for a career. And so I was walking down to school. I thought, what did I want to do as a career? Now, just a few weeks earlier, Ikea and Seki, Japan, jointly discovered, which became the Great Comet of
Yeah, the clouds are moving. This area is getting clearer and clearer.
It was really very, very,
gone.
very beautiful and pretty comet.
The hair was gone.
And now that I was thinking about that and the respect and the high regard that I had for Ikea and Seki, who are both still living now, suddenly the idea came to me what I wanted to do was to discover a comet. And that would be a very nice goal to have in life. I
Smaller.
got very excited about that. And between that moment and the time I got to the school, I decided that I would begin the search on the 17th of December of that year. Got to school, sitting in the boardroom, and the head of the French department there, Monsieur Hachisan, asked me some questions, which I tried to answer. And finally, he asked in French, what did I want to do as a career? And I sat up as straight as I could. I was very proud of myself. Monsieur Hutchison, je veux découvrir une comète. Mr. Hutchison, I would like to discover a comet. The man glared at me. He looked around the room, took off his glasses, put them back on, and said in English, Levy, how the hell do you expect to make any money doing something like that? Everybody laughed so hard, including him, that he said, okay, I'm going to give you full marks for the answer you just gave me. If only because in all the years I've done this, that is the most usual and strangest response I've ever received. But you better keep your word, Levy. You better find a comet within 20 years, because if you don't, I'm going to come back and I'm going to lower your grade.
Oh.
I started comet hunting 2 months later on the 17th of December, 1965. 19 years after that, I discovered my first comet in 1984. After that, I kind of got the hang of it. found my second one in 1987,
Yeah.
a third and again in 1987, fourth in 1988. That was a very interesting
Jul,
split off.
Comet Tsuchinshan ba?
Yeah. What? It's like
Kita ka na nagpaak diha na diha dapita.
I think I should stop the lecture.
Tanawa dire.
People are
The intersection of the
They're
cloud.
getting excited, aren't
oh, it's
they?
in the edge.
Yeah, but the cloud is moving that way, so okay.
do the lecture when the voice quiets down.
Yeah. Let's bring them on with you. Well, Chris, how's it looking?
The clouds need to move, but we're at the edge of the cloud.
You're at the edge of the clouds. Okay.
So the cloud should be gone in about 15 minutes. But
Okay.
it's still very bright here. Sunset is still 20 minutes away, and we won't see the comet probably in another 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So I'm going to have David resume his talk, but maybe you could mute on your side, and that, because the excitement is getting
Maybe my phone is way off.
Yeah, you can see the kids here getting ready.
yeah. Yes.
These are physics majors, astronomy the astronomy club of the university.
Can I look for Vega again?
I see. I know that you had a big crowd a couple of days ago. Has that thinned out at this point, or are they?
They're still coming. There's a big
Still
crowd
coming.
downstairs. We're just still holding them off. So we're just waiting for everybody to finish setting up. Then yeah, we'll get the crowds in.
Right. So we've got Rhodey. Looks like Agile.
Yeah.
The
you can bring that
Putro
over.
joining us on Facebook. He says in Indonesia, 2 hours from now, we can start taking pictures of the comet. So
Yeah.
You
In
got
ours,
people-
we have 1 hour.
You
It's
got 1
actually
hour.
45 minutes from now.
David Samard watching on YouTube says, got it last night in St. Cecil in New Brunswick. It wasn't very bright, but I got it.
Prepared.
Ed Gunther's also watching.
Moon's nice today.
And I'm going to start sharing this.
can
Chris,
see
is
the
it
moon.
okay? Is it okay if I mute you on your side, and I'll let David finish his talk? Okay. When you
Okay.
come back on, unmute yourself. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, David.
Okay, thank you. Let me continue now. The comet that I found in 1988 was very interesting because just 2 weeks after that, Gene and Carolyn Shoemaker found another comet. It was on the same field of their telescope as mine was, because they were actually looking at my comet, the comet that I had discovered. And then Carolyn said, well, what's this over here? It turned out there was a second comet there. That was named for the Shoemakers and Henry Holt. It turned out that about 12,000 years ago, the two comets were one. Comets Levy and Shoemaker-Holt were one comet.
Oh.
That comet was as far from the sun as it would ever get, at what they call aphelion. And the comet being at aphelion, there was no stress of sunlight, of solar gravity on it. And but for some reason, the comet split up into two large pieces out there. One of them came in March of 1988 to the vicinity of the sun. I'd found it then. And then in May of 1988, the Shoemakers found theirs. And that was very interesting. This was a split comet from 12,000 years ago.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I got to meet the Shoemakers.
Nice.
About a year later, we were at a conference on asteroids and comets. And of course, at these professional conferences, you learn the most when you are at the coffee breaks rather than at the lectures.
Yeah.
I was at a coffee break, and then Gene came out, and he pointed a large finger at me, and just beckoned for me to come to him. And I thought, well, Gene must be pointing at some famous astronomer behind me. So I turned around to see what famous astronomer was behind me. Nobody was. And Gene said, you're the man I want to meet. So I went up there. By the time I met him, we were already friends. A year later, I started to observe and remained that way from 1989 until 1996, when the program came to an end. We found, I think, about 12 comets together. And there were a couple of comets that come around just once and never again. But over the course of our work together, there were 9 periodic comets that we discovered. And they were really very interesting. Shoemaker-Levy 2 looked very much like an asteroid, but that turned out that it was a comet. Shoemaker-Levy 6 was bright enough that I could see it through one of my favorite telescopes, Minerva. But by far the most famous comet we discovered, and the highlight of our careers, was definitely our discovery of Shoemaker-Levy 9. In 1994, that comet taught us a very important lesson. It taught us how life can begin on a planet. And the answer it gave us was that life begins when a comet or an asteroid, particularly a comet, collides with a planet. And when the Earth was very young, cometary debris was falling with much greater frequency than it does now. Maybe every few centuries, a bright comet would be coming and crash into the Earth, depositing onto the planet the simple alphabet of life: the carbon, the hydrogen, the oxygen, and the nitrogen, CHON, the simple alphabet of life. And it just deposited those 4 simple elements onto the Earth. And then maybe another comet came and did the same thing, and then another after that. And eventually, the 4 elements kind of merged together to form proteins. And finally, very far into the future from that, began to form RNA. And finally, on one magical day, DNA. So we are, as Gene Shoemaker loved to put it, the progeny of comets. Way, way back into my past and your past, comets were really the origin of life. And as Carl Sagan said in his famous Cosmos program, we are made of star stuff. Even more than that, we are part of comets. And so when we go out tonight with Christopher and we take a look at the comet, which is pretty bright tonight, it is not the brightest comet I've ever seen. I think Comet Neowise from a few years ago was a little bit brighter. Boy, that was just so nice with a nice tail going out. But tonight, it was easy to see without a telescope, without binoculars. And I understand that it has an anti-tail. And that was predicted, and it seems to be developing right now. And so I hope that we'll get to see that this evening. And I want to end my presentation tonight by giving you a couple of quotations from my favorite book. And I think that if I were on a ship like the Titanic and it was sinking, and the captain said, "We have a library on board this sinking ship, and in the library is every book that has ever been published in humanity's history. And everybody should go down there before the ship sinks and choose their favorite book." The one that I would have chosen would have been Leslie Peltier's Starlight Nights, The Adventures of a Stargazer. It is by far the finest book that I've ever read. And I'm going to end this lecture with two quotations from it. One is absolutely delightful, just one sentence. In the first chapter, he writes, "I have seen a dozen comets, hitherto unknown. I have seen a dozen comets, hitherto unknown, slowly creep across the sky as each one signed its sweeping flourish in the guest book of the sun." Isn't that a beautiful way of describing comets?
Oh, yeah.
The best is something that has meant so much to me that when I first read it, I typed it out and put it into a frame, and I still have that frame. I did that on October the 10th, 1966. And this is what it is. You know, he's writing beautifully, poetically, but then come these two paragraphs that deserve to be inscribed in bronze on the wall of a building. Time has not lessened the age-old allure of the comets. In some ways, their mystery has only deepened with the years. At each return, a comet brings with it the questions that were asked when it was here before. And as it rounds the sun and backs away toward the long, slow night of its aphelion, it leaves behind with us those questions still unanswered. To hunt a speck of moving haze may seem a strange pursuit, but even though we fail, the search is still rewarding, for in no better way can we come face to face, night after night, with such a wealth of riches as old Croesus of Egypt never dreamed of. Thank you all very much.
Wow, that was nice, David. That was great.
Thank you.
Oh, you know, if David Attenborough ever does a documentary about comets, he's got to have you as its star. So,
Well, except that I'm not a star. I may be a comet, but I'm not a star.
well, star stuff, anyways.
Or stuff.
Star stuff. Yeah. Wonderful. And you know, David, I love the way that also you describe, you know, the building blocks of life and what we've learned about comets. This is, I think, one of the most compelling and interesting parts to learn about comets is that, you know, without comets, we wouldn't have life here on this planet. That's for sure. What do you think about the oceans, David? Is there any thought of how comets might have contributed to, you know, liquid water on this planet?
There has been, and if Gene Shoemaker were here, he would be jumping up and down and he was just saying, I think that comets fill the ocean basins with water.
Mm.
And that they might have contributed most of the water that is in the oceans. A lot of it would have been by asteroids that also have water in them.
Sure.
Larry Pavlovsky in the late 1990s discovered there was evidence of water on asteroid number 1 Ceres.
Mm-hmm.
Asteroids that would have collided with the Earth in its past would have provided some water. But comets have a lot more water than ice than asteroids do.
Wow. You know, there must have been so many, I mean, aside from yourself, there's so many scientists and astronomers that were so inspired by Gene Shoemaker and Carolyn as well. You know, it was Carolyn, you know, kept the flames alive, I think, for her husband, but you as well. I mean, you're the discovery of Shoemaker-Levy 9 and all the Shoemaker-Levy comets helped usher in new generations of people that would otherwise probably not know about the Shoemakers, you know?
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that, Scott. I certainly accept your compliment. But
Well, it's the truth. So
but
compliments are all the better when they're true.
yeah. What I wanted to add was that I do miss Jean and Carolyn now.
Yes.
I am the only still living discoverer of Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 and all the other Shoemaker-Levy comets.
Yes.
And so I feel that there is a task that I have to do that I might have fulfilled to some extent this evening
Mm-hmm.
to inspire people to think about comets, to
Yes.
go out and look at comets like the comet that we're hoping to see tonight.
Yes.
The comet that I did see at my night here in Arizona, and that you did in your night in Arkansas.
Yep. Yeah. People are watching it around the world. We saw some great images from the southern hemisphere of the comet, and of course, its huge tail. So comets have ion tails and dust tails, and this comet has got a growing anti-tail. What is an anti-tail, David?
An anti-tail is not really a tail, but their comet has dust, especially a dusty comet, has dust that circles its nucleus. And at some certain point, when the comet just passes perihelion, the sun kind of shines at the right angle on that wheel of dust. And of course, the part of it that is behind where the real tail is, we don't really see much. But the part that is in front, the anti-tail, we do see. And we may see that tonight. Tonight, this comet has two very beautiful tails, a very small gas tail, which is nice, but the dust tail, which is what stretches way, way up into the sky right now, is really very, very pretty. And I saw that without a telescope, without binoculars, just with my own eyes tonight outside. I was out there thinking, well, I'm not going to even so wait a minute, there it is.
There it is. That's right.
And I used the telescope that you provided for me, Eureka, to see the nucleus of the comet tonight, or the inner coma.
Good.
And it was shining pretty brightly, I would say. Probably 0 first magnitude, maybe even -1. Hard to tell with brightening west.
I was a little surprised to find it naked eye, a few hours ago, and I could just barely see it. I'm like in an urban sky, so it's not dark, not like where your site is, David.
I'm very pleased that your wife Wendy actually saw it as well.
Yeah. And she's I said, do you want to try to see this again? She's like, absolutely, and so she has a funny story about Halley's Comet, because her father, like a lot of parents, or maybe especially fathers, want to show their kids something about the universe and the sky. And when a big event like a great comet comes, that becomes the linchpin to get the kids out. And anyways, this is down in Honduras, Central America. And he wakes up Wendy, who's pretty young at the time. This would have been 1986, 85, 86. And she comes stumbling out of her sleep, a little perturbed that her dad has waken her up. But unfortunately, her father doesn't know what to look for, or where to look. And both of them are expecting to see this comet streaking across the sky, not hanging in the sky. And so and she kept warning me that this comet better not be like Halley's Comet was for her,
Did you know that there is a very famous song that describes Wendy's experience almost to the letter.
No.
It's by Mary Chapin Carpenter, and it's called When Hallie Came to Jackson.
When Hallie Came to Jackson.
It is a beautiful song. One of my favorite songs, and I used to play it during, in fact, you might have heard it during a lecture I gave once.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
And, it's a beautiful, beautiful song, and it describes Wendy's experience almost to the letter. I was married to also to a girl named Wendy.
Oh, yeah.
That is a magic name.
Yes. Yes.
And I remember one morning I came in from observing, and I had discovered a comet that morning. It was my most recent visual discovery. And I was trying to keep things quiet because I knew Wendy was sleeping. And I called a friend of mine, Ponglinos, on the phone and was talking about it with him. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep and I'm going to try not to wake Wendy up. And I walked into the bedroom and she was sleeping soundly. And ever so quietly, I crawled into bed, trying not to lift up the blankets as any more than I had to. Didn't want to wake her up.
Whoa.
And I didn't. She was sleeping so soundly. And then I turned and looked, and there she was looking at me with her eyes open. And she said, "You got one today, didn't you?" And I said, "You expect me to stay asleep with that news?" So that evening, I asked her if she wanted to get up early the next morning to see it.
Yeah.
And Wendy didn't like to get up that early in the morning.
Sure. Yes, because that's early.
Like now. And
Yeah.
She didn't like to. But she looked at me and she said, "To see your new comet, I wouldn't miss that for the world."
Oh, yeah.
I showed it to her.
That's awesome.
And it reminded me of Leslie's line, "To hunt a speck of moving haze," because it really is just a faint blob of moving haze. This one that we're looking at tonight is a rather bright blob of moving haze.
Yes.
With a large amount of haze going behind it, which is the tail. And it's really very, very interesting.
Yes.
The movie that I'd recommend your audience to see, it is called IQ. It is about Albert Einstein and a fictitious niece he has that he and his intellectual friends are trying to pair up with a automobile mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And won't tell you the story, but it's a wonderful movie. And there is a big comet involved, a central part of that story.
And the movie's called IQ?
Go see it, or rent it, or buy it, or walk it, or do something. But go see that movie. It's wonderful.
Let me see. I just posted the song by Mary Carpenter of When Hallie Came to Jackson. So
do you want to play it for us?
I can't play it because they'll probably shut down the live stream, but the audience can listen to it, so if they click on it, they can hear it.
You can sing it for us. They won't shut you down if they sing it for us.
If I had the words, and I can find it here. Let's see. I don't even know how the tune goes. Do you know how it goes?
Something like that.
I came to Jackson lyrics. The internet's just amazing. So it says, late one night, the wind was still.
Night when the wind was still.
Daddy brought the baby to the windowsill to see a bit of heaven shoot across the sky, the one and only time Daddy saw it fly. It came from the east, just as bright as a torch. The neighbors had a party on their porch. Daddy rocked the baby. Mother said amen. When Halley came to visit in 1910. Now back then, Jackson was a real small town, and it's not every night a comet comes around. It's almost 80 years since the last one, though. So I bet your mother would have said amen too. As its tail stretched out like a stardust streak, the papers wrote about it every day for a week. You wondered where it's going and where it's been when Halley came to Jackson in 1910. Now, Daddy told the baby sleeping in his arms to dream a little dream of a comet's charms. And he made a little wish as he slept so sound, as she slept so sound. In 1986, that wish came around. And it came from the east, just as bright as a torch. She saw it in the sky from her daddy's porch, as heavenly sent as it was back then when Halley came to Jackson in 1910.
Scotty, you read handily.
And late one night,
Was
when the wind was still,
with a capital B and a capital T.
That's a cool song. It is. Ed Gunther says, a song. Yes.
And please say Ed Gunther. I miss him, and I hope to see him in the wintertime.
Yeah, he's on watching the program. You know, he watches Global Star Party a lot. You know, so yeah. Probably to hear your poetry when you start off every Global Star Party.
Yeah, I've done that, and except for one, I have made it to every one of your global.
You made to everyone. Yep. And I still contend that the other one wasn't an official Global Star Party. This one was arranged by Night Sky Network and kind of out of my control. In fact, I'd say out of my control entirely. I did broadcast it, but there were others that had selected speakers and ran the program, and I just tried to keep up. So,
well, the lady who was in charge of that wrote to me afterwards. She apologized that they didn't get me on.
Yeah. I think it was a big faux pas. So
not her fault. I mean, it was nobody's fault.
And not her fault either, because she really wasn't running the schedule. You know, she had gathered the people together, but they had picked other people to run this program and had their own ideas, and that's okay. You know, I've done live programming for other astronomy clubs and stuff, especially during COVID. That's the reason why we started Global Star Party, is because everyone was in lockdown, you know.
I know that was one of the big projects you started.
Yeah, it's been very rewarding.
Audience, Scott Roberts has probably more energy than any 14 people that I know. And
it's because of people like you that give me the energy, David.
I'm so sorry about that, Scotty. And next month, in case Scott doesn't have enough to do, he and I are going up to Lowell Observatory to see the inauguration of their new science center.
Yeah, the Astronomy Discovery Center, ADC, I think is what they call it.
Lowell Observatory is a very famous place. It was famous mostly as the site of the discovery of Pluto.
Yes.
1930 by Clyde Tombaugh.
You mean the planet Pluto, David?
I call it the planet Pluto. Just like what we are hoping to see tonight is a comet. Yeah. And that is a comet, and et cetera, et cetera. Somebody giving a lecture about Shoemaker-Levy 9 said this and that, and he then concluded his lecture by saying Shoemaker-Levy 9 was an asteroid, not a comet.
What?
And I looked at Jean and Carolyn, they looked at me, and we just said, no way. If it smells like a comet, tastes like a comet,
tastes like a comet,
it's a comet.
Feels like a comet, it's a comet. Probably. So Chris, you want to unmute your Zoom link here?
There. Yeah. Actually, the west is clear except that small area where the comet is, which is kind of a joke.
That's a cruel joke.
This is crazy. I mean, there's one
They'll
cloud
move.
probably
They'll move
about
past.
15 degrees wide that's covering the comet. All the rest is clear.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
we're
I
waiting
had
for
the
the
same
wind.
thing happen to us in Arkansas. You know, every night, you know, as the sun is setting, the clouds gather right around where the sun is. So,
It's crazy. We can see Venus. It's clear.
yeah.
And to the left, to the right of the comet, it's clear.
Well, you might be able to see the tail climbing out of that cloud.
Maybe
But no, this cloud is moving, so
it's
it's
moving.
heading towards
Yeah,
Venus.
we're gonna
So
get it. We're gonna get it.
it's just about probably
I'm willing it away right now. So,
it's the edge of the cloud is probably about 5 degrees from the comet. We're at the edge.
so Ed Gunther says, "Thanks for doing this, Scott." Ed, this is the juice. You know, you work hard every day, but what revives you and makes you want to keep doing all of this is doing stuff like this. So thank you. Thanks for tuning in.
And Ed and Scott, you were
You can
People
see
even-
the-
so and I'm
Yeah.
still
Yeah, what time is it? Ed lives out. Where
Wow.
does he live in?
he's one higher than you. And I am too
Hello,
old.
world.
It's cool. I like to have the live chat going on, you know, because
we have quite a number of people here right now.
oh, look at that. Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna see it.
They're observing Saturn and the moon while waiting for the comet.
You know, Chris, I've got that video about the red spot on Jupiter. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then I'll just run it. It's like 3 minutes long, something like that.
Sure,
But
sure.
you know the background of this.
Okay, Red Spot Junior is actually oval BA. So what happened was that during the Second World War, early 40s, mid 40s, 3 ovals started to appear. And these 3 ovals, I forgot the name. I think it was A, B, C, D, E, F.
Okay.
So what happened was that during the early 90s, they started to merge and became one spot, which is oval BA. And I think the merge took about a few years, and I think it ended around 1999.
Now these
And-
ovals are giant storms.
Yeah. These
Yeah.
were at the South Temperate Belt STB. So what happened was that these 3 ovals started after they merged. They started I think in 2005, late 2005, it started to change color. And when I observed it in March 2006, it was completely red. And quite interestingly, in 2019, it became white again.
Weird.
So, but right now, it's starting to turn red again. So it's kind of weird.
That's
It's getting
weird.
white and red, white and red, white and red.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I will show this video and we'll learn more about Jupiter's
Really?
ovals.
Wait a sec. Wait a sec.
Wait,
Is it?
oh, are you guys getting it?
It's thinning, right? It's thinning, right?
It's getting closer.
It's getting closer to the edge. Yeah, it's getting closer to the edge.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is about a 3-minute video. Let me run this and we'll come right back to you.
Okay.
And this appearance clouds can see
Astronomers have been observing Jupiter's Great Red Spot, a massive storm big enough to swallow Earth, for over 150 years. However, new discoveries continue to emerge, especially with NASA's Hubble Space Telescope taking close-up views. Hubble's latest observations, gathered over 90 days from December 2023 to March 2024, show that the Great Red Spot is less stable than it seems. The data reveal that the Great Red Spot is wobbling like a bowl of gelatin. Hubble's images allowed astronomers to create a time-lapse movie of the storm's squiggly motion. While scientists knew the storm's position changed slightly over time, they didn't expect to see its size fluctuate. Thanks to Hubble's high resolution, they found that the Great Red Spot is squeezing in and out while speeding up and slowing down. Hubble observes Jupiter and the other outer planets yearly through the Outer Planet Atmospheres Legacy Program, or OPAL. But these particular images were part of a special Great Red Spot study. The team has been tracking the shrinking Great Red Spot since the OPAL program began 10 years ago, and predicts it will continue to shrink and eventually take on a more stable, less elongated shape. Researchers hope that future high-resolution images from Hubble might reveal other clues about what's causing the storm's fluctuations. Studying the biggest storms in our solar system helps scientists understand hurricane patterns on Earth and could even apply to weather on planets around other stars.
Oh, it's getting dark. It's getting dark, David. Look at that.
Yeah, it is getting dark. Actually, it's very dark where I am, although the moon is kind of starting to set.
Mm-hmm.
But long since set from my part of the world. Still up in the Philippines, though.
Still up in the Philippines. What time is it right now? It's almost 5 o'clock. Oh, yeah. Look, Chris has got his green laser going on there. All right, Chris, you can unmute.
Wait a sec. We're waiting for the cloud to move. It's just very close.
It's very close. Good. That's called the, what is that called? The slow reveal. We use it in sales a lot. You know, it's when you have like a cloth over the new product that nobody's seen yet and you're slowly pulling it back.
The comet will just stay in one place and move. Comets do not move around. They orbit the sun. So it's just like the planets. What man? Huh?
You're live.
Huh?
You're live.
Chris, I also noticed that TMC Radio 105.1 is logged in, and
Yeah, it's a
other
radio
gentleman-
station.
Yeah, and Neil Romero,
Yes, that's the audio here.
that's the audio. Okay. Okay. That's quite a. So you're also broadcasting live in the Philippines on the news
Yeah,
network
it's
there, right?
broadcasted live throughout Cebu.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let me explain to the kid.
Yeah.
That's the moon. The other one is Venus.
Bottom right.
That's wait a sec. Bottom right. Yeah, that's Saturn. That's Saturn. You want to see Saturn? I think one of the telescopes.
Yeah,
you
we're
can see
watching
the
Saturn
rings.
right now. Let's see. We're watching Saturn. You want to see?
You can see the rings. There's a small kid here.
Yeah. Chris, I know that from Edwin and Imelda, who did a lot of outreach work in the Philippines and still do. They are. They've often told me how, I mean, really interested people are in the Philippines about the astronomy. Do you find that to be the case?
Yes, it is. I think it's not just here in the Philippines, but all over the world, and it just needs us people like us to show it to them. For
Yes.
most people, getting this knowledge is not accessible. Very few people have telescopes. So
Right.
when you have something like this, and they find out that it's something that's possible to observe, then they get interested.
You must have shared your astronomy experiences with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people,
Yeah.
Chris. So
Yeah, but
that's
there's
great.
really one country that has a government agency that promotes astronomy, and that's Thailand. I think you should go
That's
there one of these
true.
days.
That's true. They've been on Global Star Party before themselves. So yeah.
Yeah, Narit.
So
Yeah, it's incredible. It's a government agency that teaches astronomy to all kids in Thailand.
yeah, that's only going to have, that's going to pay big dividends in generations to come. That's for sure.
And basically, they have this reason. The only way for their country to improve is to get their kids into science and engineering. And that's the
agree.
basic reason why they're doing this.
Yeah.
Wait
Yeah,
a sec. I need to check the comment. How is it?
Yeah, please do.
How is it, Steve? Huh?
So if you're just now tuning in, this is the 158th Global Star Party, where we are live from the Philippines and also live from Vail, Arizona. We've got Christopher Go in the Philippines above Cebu City. He's on a mountaintop. He's broadcasting with a Starlink system,
Come on.
and also the
No, I
local
wanna see the
published
comment
news
now.
I mean, we want to see the comet.
is broadcasting as well throughout the Philippines. So that's
How far
cool.
to travel?
David's coming to us from his home in Vail, Arizona.
So the problem is
And I'm here in Arkansas at Explore
also
Scientific.
going down with the planet, so we just need the cloud to move to the left. Yeah, we're going crazy because the cloud decided to stand still. Come on.
He'll move.
And the
It
sky.
just appears to
clear.
stand still because it just takes so long. Chris, we lost your camera.
Yeah, sorry, what happened?
Did you just disconnect the camera itself, or?
I don't know what happened to my camera. Wait a second.
Try unplugging it and plugging it back in.
I can't do that because this is a built-in.
Oh, okay.
Wait a sec. Let me check.
Go
what
to
happened.
Zoom settings under video and see if it's selecting the camera.
Okay, wait a second.
All right.
There's something wrong with my camera. It just died.
It just died, huh?
I think I need to reboot.
Okay, we'll wait right here.
Okay.
And I will wait too.
Yeah.
So he will wait too.
Let me reboot.
Okay.
I lost your sound for a second there.
Yeah, let me mute your phone here. There you go. That'll get rid of the echo. Can you still hear me, David?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. So we'll see what happens here. So I can share my screen. Let's see. David, your other Zoom link dropped. You're on your phone. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
I am just unmuted.
Unmuted.
No more echo.
No more mooting. Yes. Let's see.
Yeah, I got the video working, but not the audio. So
That's cool. So yeah, let me share this. We can talk about Lowell Observatory a little bit. Now you've been to Lowell many times, I think.
many times.
Many times. I've been
I
a
was
few
there.
times.
Was actually in 1967.
Oh, goodness.
Person who gave us the tour that day was none other than Robert Bob Burnham.
Wow. You mean of the Burnham Celestial Handbook?
And the interesting thing
Wow.
about Bob Burnham was I didn't know that he had discovered half a dozen comets, but one of the other people did. And he said, are you the Bob Burnham who's discovered 6 comets? And
Wow.
I said, yeah,
I
but
didn't know that.
now because I haven't found any in a while.
You know, it's sad about Burnham because in talking to a friend of mine that worked with him, his name will come to mind here in a minute, but in writing the Burnham Celestial Handbook, it's a 3-volume set, it's all hand typed. And he said every time that there was an error or something that he needed to update or whatever, as he was trying to complete this 3-volume set, he would start all over again. He would start all over again and he would retype it. Okay. So according to him, and that guy's name was Paul Rokes. Paul worked at Lowell Observatory for a long time as well. And I guess it literally drove him mad because towards the end of his life, Burnham kind of fell off the face of the earth, but he was kind of rediscovered as a homeless person living in Balboa Park, which is in San Diego. And he would make little paintings for people and he was selling them.
Paintings of cats.
Paintings of cats. That's right.
Most of them were cats, I think.
Yeah. And then, and then he passed on. But I mean, if you've ever read the Burnham Celestial Handbook, I mean, it's just an incredible description of every celestial object that's in there. With at the time, the most accurate scientific information, and a lot of it still holds true today. So if you haven't read Burnham's Celestial Handbook, I recommend that you get a set, even a used set, which is okay. I'm not sure if it's still published, but it was for many years kind of an amateur astronomer's Bible, so. Yeah, combined with books that David Levy had written, really you had a complete library of what you needed to know about amateur astronomy. And
I was about to brag when Scott started bragging on my behalf, but may I brag a little bit?
Brag, please.
Okay. Tonight's quotation from Starlight Nights and my lecture that I gave tonight Wasn't the best lecture, but it'll do at 3 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Sure.
This was lecture number 3132. The lecture
Oh,
one was given in the spring of 1960. I was in 6th grade at Roslyn School and Westmount. And Scott, have you ever heard of Leonard Cohen?
yes, of course.
He went to Roslyn School
Oh, I see.
about 10 years before I did. Did you ever hear of Kamala Harris?
But it's visible all the time.
Yes.
Yep, I've heard of her.
About 10 years after I did.
Level
Wow. And then a really famous comet discoverer guy,
Last couple of days,
Yeah.
Venus has been here always.
David Levy.
Sure.
So I saw Chris's video work just briefly.
Duration of the night.
It's gonna set in about around 7 o'clock. Yeah. It'll go down.
And Chris is getting, I think he's trying to log in with a different, or somebody's with him that's got a laptop.
No, we're talking here.
Yeah, it's an echo. So you've got someone else that's logged into the Zoom link. Or another
We have a
computer.
speaker here.
So it's picking up on that microphone and it's repeating. Chris, you could also log in just with your phone, if that works for you.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think you can take my picture out of the main view screen and put yours in instead, or Chris's.
Let's add Chris. So there we go.
There
we
you
are. There's Chris. And that's working. And I'll add myself. Here we go. Okay. So it's dark now. Are you guys, how about that cloud? You're still muted, Chris. Okay, I can tell he's pantomiming the cloud. Okay. You're muted, Chris. There we go.
Yeah, we can see Venus and I think Arcturus on the right. And yeah, it's just in the comet. I don't understand. This is crazy.
And we lost the video again.
Okay today. It's okay.
Chris, I think you can hear us, but we cannot see your video any longer.
Yeah, I think my camera just went kaput. I have to check it when I get home.
Okay. You could, if you have Zoom on your phone, you could log in that way.
No, okay, let me check.
It looks like this is the studio for TMC Radio 105.1. Well, it's not the first time to have a technical difficulty in trying to do something with astronomy.
I thought this was the first time.
No, it's not the first time. There was this thing called the Hubble Space Telescope. They had some
All of
issues.
the observing that has been done.
Yeah.
This is the first mistake that has ever happened.
Ever happened.
Wrong end of a telescope. 10.
I like the mistake that happened during Shoemaker Levy 9 when you guys were trying to load up film and it had gotten exposed, I guess. Here comes Chris. Here comes Chris. He logged in with something else here. Let's see what happens.
That's a funny story that happened.
Yeah, what didn't like somebody opened the door, or I guess someone had exposed the film that the Shoemaker Levy 9.
Exposed the film. We think they did it on purpose.
Why?
They didn't tell us.
Why would they do that?
Well, they never told us they had done it. And we discovered it ourselves when after the first
like oops.
exposed, and we're completely blank.
Oh. They want to be nailed for that one. People.
You know who saved the day? David saved the day.
David, that's
The
right.
reason
You
that
decided to
David-
use some film anyways, right?
At the Cerebral Films and very angry. And I said, Gene, why don't we try the films at the very bottom of the stack? They might not be completely light struck.
That's
And
right.
Gene actually took one of them out of the stack, developed it, and he said, "You're right. It's clear except for a little bit on the side." So we were able to use those bad films.
Mhm.
And actually, two of those bad films that we used in the two discovery films of Comet Shoemaker Levy 9.
Wow.
Remember trying to guide that exposure and saying, I sure hope to heck nobody sees it because I can barely see the guide star with Jupiter so close
Yeah.
in the sky. And we're putting it on bad film.
On bad film. Were there clouds as well?
Yeah, we had clouds, but the clouds kind of parted for a bit that allowed us
Like a
to,
hole in the clouds, right?
through holes in the clouds, we were able to take the second picture. And
That is amazing.
2 days later, Carolyn stood up and said, I don't know what I've got, but it looks like a squashed comet. And Gene got up to look at it.
What was running through your minds? Did you think that maybe at first it was just some sort of optical defect,
I
or
thought Carolyn was just kidding around. And I
you
actually
thought she was kidding around? Okay.
And I said, Carolyn, you are joking, aren't you? And she looked at me very seriously and she said, no, David, not this time.
Yeah, the only time.
Yeah.
She had a good sense of humor.
She had a
did.
wonderful sense of humor.
Yeah, I imagine Gene did too. I
too.
wish that I had met Gene. You know, I wish that I had met him.
You did meet Carolyn, didn't you?
What's that?
You did meet Carolyn.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Carolyn and I met several times, and I would count her among my friends. You know, I didn't know her like I know
I'm really
you, of
glad
course, but
if Gene were talking now, he would say that Carolyn was the one you wanted to meet.
oh, I'm sure.
But Gene was a lot of fun himself.
Yeah.
But during the Shoemaker Levy 9 time, our friendship just got closer and closer,
Oh, yeah.
almost as though we were physically joined.
Yeah.
Um,
That's right. Well, you were
And said,
much joined by
joined
a
by
celestial event and by something in history.
joined by the orbit of a comet.
Yep.
It was as if that comet took its tails and swept the three of us up and brought us around, going around its orbit with it for a year and a half.
Oh, yeah. I would say it's still doing that.
Actually, it's not. It completely disintegrated on colliding with Jupiter.
Well, There's got to
No,
be some of that comet dust still around, probably still going around Jupiter.
pardon?
I said that there's probably still some of that comet dust around, probably still going around Jupiter.
There probably might be.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what Christopher's situation
You
is.
plan to try this again tomorrow night if we don't see it tonight?
I would imagine so.
But let's hope we see it tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tried so hard, you know. But Chris is the kind of guy, he does not give up, you know, and that's what it takes. You know, if you want to have some amazing experiences in astronomy, you got to be there, you got to show up, you know, and just enjoy it, you know, no matter what comes, you know, whether you're clouded out, you get a flat tire on the way to some place or whatever. It's all, you know, it's all part of the journey of exploration. So Chris, can you hear us?
Yeah. The cloud refused to move. Come on.
It refuses to move. Can your camera come on your
Yeah,
phone?
actually, the camera's pointing at the comet right now. We took some pictures. It's just cloud. It's just on the area of the comet.
Mm-hmm. Now, are
Yeah,
you
the
are you
cloud is
logged
like
in?
a volcano, a stratovolcano. It's not that wide.
Are you logged in by your phone, or how did you log in again?
Excuse me.
Are
I'm
you
still
logged in
using my
on your
laptop.
laptop or by phone?
There is a
Laptop. Okay, I see it.
My phone, the video is too dark because it's dark here.
Yeah. What does it look like when you share your screen, Chris? Let's try that.
Okay, let me share my screen. Wait a sec. Okay.
Okay, that works.
This is the view of the camera.
Yes.
there. Oh, there.
Hey, wait a sec. The cloud is moving north.
Yay.
Moving. Let's see. Nothing. The cloud is actually moving now.
Which direction?
North.
I see. In telescope, it's
Yeah.
30,
The cloud is moving north now.
30,000 pesos.
Great.
It's gonna jump then, bro. I would have died if it was 30,000. But yeah, it's
So the comet's supposed to go around the
Is that Arcturus off to the upper right?
Is that what it is? Yeah, the rings of Saturn look really, I mean, not completely edge on, but but more tilted towards, you can just kind of see the edge, you know.
I love looking at the rings when they are edge on. They're just, that line is just so striking.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like a dash
Hmm.
going across the planet. I'd heard, David, that they think the rings are actually quite young. They're not, and won't last for very long, you know,
They
astronomically speaking.
they are younger than the planet.
Yeah,
But they're younger. That's a relative term, though.
yeah, of course.
And certainly, surely they are in the billions of years in age, but maybe not quite as old as the planet. Certainly not as old as the planet itself.
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter has a ring too.
Yes. And it's probably quite common. I mean, with all the planets that they're now exoplanets,
Yeah,
probably
probably
not unusual for a planet to have rings, you
the
know.
Earth had one after that object collided with the Earth. That Mars-sized planetesimal collided
Mhm.
with Earth, and it broke the planetesimal apart into a ring around the Earth. But it didn't last very long. It coalesced to form the moon.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the most important discoveries from the Apollo missions.
You know, it's nice to know that we found out something that's so foundational. When you think of all the things that the moon gives us, you know, with our tides and all the rest of it. I wonder if we didn't have a moon, if life would have taken hold here. And I would say that you know, I would guess. I mean, certainly the scientists that study this, the astrobiologists and such, be interesting to hear them weigh in on this. But if we had no moon, no tides, no, you know, would we still have life here?
My guess is no, we would not.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Because
the
the moon
same.
provides so much, even the tides. If it weren't for the moon, the tides would still be there because the sun provides some gravitational pull.
That's true. That is true.
But
But not like the moon and the sun together.
moon and the sun together. But my guess, and it's just a guess, is that we would not be here and losing sleep for all these nights if we had no moon.
Right.
Chris, is the cloud still moving north?
Yeah, just still clouds. Oh gosh. This is crazy because if you look at the sky, it's clear here everywhere except in the direction of the comet. There's a big anvil cloud. It's crazy.
It's like it's like God just gave us a.
Everywhere it's clear.
This is how you learn how to deepen your experience of patience.
Yeah. Ah, nothing. Steve, can you laser again? The position. Yeah, it's getting low. Ah,
There.
yeah.
You want to start here or you want to start over there? Both of them are like looking at their
Yeah, the thing is the comet is in the wrong part of the sky.
That's what's wrong.
I don't know what's wrong with comets, why clouds are so attracted to it.
Yes.
This is the second time this week. I mean, last Saturday, it was also like this. It was clear the whole sky,
Yeah.
except where the comet exactly is. Yesterday, we were a little lucky, but not a lot. So we got
Yeah, you
this.
did actually get to see the comet.
Yeah,
Yeah, there it is.
is a tail, and this is a better view.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite bright.
It is bright. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, even through clouds, you can see it. But right now, the
Yes.
cloud is just so thick. Ah, sorry, getting you guys up so early for this.
Yeah, we're here with you, man. We're not like we're not part of, just
Absolutely.
we're not part, we are audience members, but we totally understand that, the situation.
Really
with
thought it
clouds.
would clear up now. The whole sky was clear this afternoon, and the cloud was moving towards clearing, and it just so happens that during the prime time of the combat, the cloud just stopped.
Yes.
Yeah, it's clear over here, and I think there's a clearing over there. It's just the cloud stopped.
Let's see if I can look at a satellite image.
Yeah, it's.
Cebu,
What
Philippines.
happened to the wind?
Don't touch it. The little camera?
Yeah.
Oh, I see where the cloud is.
Oh, look at the
Good
laser.
evening.
Yeah, hi.
There's floating up.
Yeah, it's supposed to be around there.
Tell me what's it? I'm trying to, I don't. Try it. Yeah, that's the way the boys make another camera.
Asan na Steve? Can you point it? Okay. It's okay. Okay, there it is.
We can see like the laser over there.
And the comet's still quite high right now, but it's just that the clouds is there.
Mm-hmm.
Hiding the phone.
So yesterday the comet was this, like this.
Whoa. See.
So
You can see
you're kind of like in the middle of the
comet and the
island, is that
tail.
right? Chris?
That was yesterday. The day.
What time was it?
Around this time. Around this time. Yeah, it just so happened right now that
This big cloud.
yeah, that cloud decided to stop.
Yeah. The way it looks on the satellite, it looks like it's mushrooming. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a mushroom cloud over there.
Yeah.
You can see the lightning.
What is the island that is next to the island where you're on? What is the name of that island?
Let's see. What did we get? Yeah, it's where the comet's supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
This one. Yeah, it's behind that cloud.
Cloud.
Yeah. Sayang.
Scotty, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I will be back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully, I'll try our luck. Tomorrow is my last day here, so I'll
We
try
got
my
one
luck.
more shot. Okay.
But tomorrow it'll be a lot higher. It'll be about 25 degrees. So
Yes.
hopefully, well, if it were 25 degrees now, it would be above the cloud top.
I see.
But it's funny because yesterday's cloud, this at today's altitude, the comet would have been above the cloud. Seems like the cloud is chasing the comet.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll just try tomorrow.
Yeah, you could, but then it will take longer because it's very faint. You have to expose the camera.
Okay, Scott, I think I'll go now.
You'll go. Okay.
Take care.
All right. I'm going to
Thanks.
show our audience kind of what you're looking at.
I'll call back in case the cloud clears. Probably the cloud will clear if I get.
If you get offline. All right.
Okay,
I'm going to
okay,
wait
bye.
here. I'll wait here another half hour. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, Chris, take care. All right. So, yeah, so this another kind of night of frustration with Christopher Go. I'm going to show you kind of what we're looking at here with, I'll share my screen and show you the live cloud coverage over the Philippines. Let's see. There we are. There we are. Okay. And so let's just Cebu City is right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but and if I run the time lapse here, you can see clouds kind of mushrooming around Cebu City, and that is what is frustrating Chris at the moment here. So, but he's right. If the comet's up higher, then we probably got a good shot at it.